Stop being a jerk.
All right, everybody. Welcome to today's call. It is Friday, December the 13th of 2019, and this is the TRC sales training call. I'm excited to do it. And we had a really good mastermind yesterday where I masterminded with my own internal team from my own book of business that I share with Autumn and Laura. And we got into some of the details of telemarketing. And so I asked Autumn to dig up a call. I didn't really care which one it was, so I gave her a few minutes here to pull something up, and we have one, and we're going to go through it. And what you're going to see is where you go from this concept of scripting to allowing somebody like Autumn with talent to feel her way through a conversation. That would be the best way that I could describe it to you all, is that you'll hear in her tone, and that's what I want you to listen to here. This is an expert telemarketer doing a telemarketing call. I don't know when this call was recorded, but
September.
So September. So let's say she was about 6 months in to understanding real estate. So you're going to be able to discern the difference between her technique and talent and the strategy. And as I was listening to it, I already had some critiques is the wrong word. Tweaks would be the right word. What I wanted to ask her going forward to see if we could adhere to certain things. Why? Over time, when somebody's really good at something or they get really good at something, what happens is they default to that. So in Maxwell Maltz's world, it's called the snapback effect. We always snap back to a version of ourselves that we know, that we're comfortable of, whether or not that's the best version of us, right? And that's just par for the course. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just what we become aware of. So I always in this coaching group am trying to be completely transparent with the realities of my brokerage business with you all so that you see it transparently and you can see what's real, because sometimes you'll have a perception of the way things are working or not working. And what you'll presume is that we're different from you, or you have a different situation, or it's more difficult for you, whatever the case might be. That's what we're dealing with here. Okay. So I am going to let this rock and roll here and get her going. In a second, I'm just trying to make sure I'm ready for this. Okay. So I'm going to open up your microphones. Just make sure everybody is going to hear me. Okay. So we okay? Just one more mic check for everybody. We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Stupendous. Thank you. And thank you for muting your mics if you're in a busy spot. All right, here we go. I'm going to open this up. We're going to let it rip, and you'll hear Autumn and I go through it, and then we'll open it up again. Here we go.
Hi, may I speak with Mr. Rudnick, please?
Speaking.
Hi, Mr. Rudnick. Autumn calling you from Griffin Realty Group. I am calling because you have a beautiful condo on Appleton, and it came off the market, and I wanted to send you a packet of information that will help you guys sell it next time when you put it up. May I do that?
Sure. We're definitely not selling it until at least next year.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's your process. We just want to make sure you know we exist.
Okay.
Why do you think it didn't sell? Out of curiosity, because we couldn't figure out why it didn't sell.
I think that it's a first floor place, and it looks out the back instead of the front. That's most of the feedback, and I think that we were trying to do it quickly and couldn't get what we wanted at first, so we probably wasn't priced correctly at first, but I think going forward we'll probably do it a little bit easier.
Okay, well that's insightful. If you're a lot of people slap a price on it and they see no wrong, and oftentimes it is the price. So I'm glad you see that. If there was an issue, I mean, like I say, we couldn't figure out why it didn't sell, because it's hot property. So what I'm going to send you is a seller booklet. There's 7 steps in there that if you do those steps, you're going to figure it out and get it going. It's going to sell. Also, I'll send you a newsletter so that you know exactly what's happening in the market, like how much it is per square foot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to send you a comparable listing. So what that means is you'll get, it'll be like 6 pages of houses that did sell in the price range, below that price range, and above that price range that are comparable to yours, so that you can look and brainstorm from seeing that, all seeing what sold.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
So it's going to, I'm sorry?
No, that works.
Okay.
You have what address are you going to use?
I'm going to use 5 Appleton Street. Is that
Well,
it?
we're not living there right now, so.
All right. So where are you?
We're in Wellesley now.
Okay. Let me see. Let me look and see if I have that, because that sounds familiar to me. Robert and Morgan. Hold on. I may have the Wellesley address. No, I don't. Okay. So what is the zip over in Wellesley?
Wellesley.
Wellesley.
Sound like a foreigner.
Is it Wellesley? Not Wellesley.
Yes.
It is
Wellesley.
02482.
482. Okay, and what is the address that I'm sending to, or a PO box or whatever?
98 Brook Street.
98 Brook Street. Okay, does Brook have an E at the end or no?
No E.
Okay, so 98 Brook Street, Wellesley 02482. Okay, so it's going to come in sort of a pale gray 8x11 envelope, and I'll put my name on the front so that you'll remember conversation, and don't think it's junk mail. Okay?
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I'm getting it together right now for you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, Robert.
Okay. Before I go into it with what I think, what do you think? Because that's September and this is December, and a lot has happened in your education, in your evolution. So what do you hear?
Me?
Yeah. What do you hear? Self-critique. What would you do differently?
You know, I mean, I liked the pace. I liked that it was relaxed and that he was, when he said, well, we're not going to put up till, next year. See, a lot of times when someone hands me a rebuff immediately, I know they're trying to protect their process because they probably want to put it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I forged ahead at that point.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I liked the relaxed feel to it. We were actually just doing business and we were getting the package out. There wasn't a rush. There wasn't pressure. I mean, I could say, well, it could have been more concise. I could have been more business-like, but I don't know. That doesn't always.
Yeah. All right, good. So I'm going to run with that. I think it could have been more concise without losing what was excellent about it.
Yeah, it was very relaxed.
No, exactly. It was, I would say, relaxed to the point of, it wasn't your pace is very, it's deliberate in the beginning. And I think, but I want to highlight that because you brought that up when you first came on with your expertise in telemarketing. It was that deliberate style that was an eye opener for me, that slowing down in the beginning, because in the very beginning, you still have their curiosity.
Right.
So while you still have their curiosity, slowing down has them leaning in and listening, and you're not rushing, which I hear all the time on recorded calls. Everybody's in a rush to say
because we're scared.
Well, the heart gets going, oh my gosh, it's finally one of those connects 10% of the time, right?
Yes,
you're talking 1 out of 10 and voila.
Right.
Here it is.
They answer the phone. It's like, oh my God.
Understood. So that's why I'm applauding that tactic of slowing down.
Yeah. Give them lots of time to hang up.
100%. Now, when you get into it, it's just really, as time goes on, finding the language that is consistent in that opening beat. When we are high I and we like to talk, you and I, okay, kindred spirits, we like to talk. We tend to fill up a conversation. And I'm going to say this. This is the first time I've ever made this subtle distinction. Listening. People like you and I do this in the house. Okay, or did it in the house. I'm going to tell you what I self-critiqued and adjusted. I tend to fill up a lot of white space,
right?
Because I'm feeling it.
Right.
This is a relaxed pace. There's a connection. There's rapport, and the default of a high I is to talk into that white space. Just natural.
Right.
There's zero wrong with it.
Right.
And it works. Problem is, I found when I self-critiqued myself, I found that it was a little bit of white space filled by me here and there and there. And the next thing you know, I'm in a 90-minute presentation.
Oh.
I'm not in a 45-minute presentation
Gotcha.
because I fill the white space. They meet the white space. Now you've almost doubled the time.
Right, because that
And-
was a little long.
No doubt, it's the only thing.
Normally it's a minute,
Co-
you know.
hu-
So you're right. It was
100%.
3 times as long.
It was almost as if in the subconscious somewhere, we want to drag out success.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah.
Because you make the connection and you know it right away. You just know it. And he's kind of quick with you. Like you said, he gets standing back. I mean, look at the transformation of the guy at the end.
Yeah. He's like, thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
what was interesting, and I try to stay out of the way of this a little bit and say, geez, why is she going on about what's in the package? But yet that was what really got him, because
Yeah.
once he gave you that white space, now you're being specific. I just thought, go back and practice that a few times to, remember what I said, lay it out in front of you.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm sending you. I'm going to send you a letter that
But
explains.
I don't always get the space to say that.
No doubt.
With him, I did.
No doubt. But in this case, you gave me that call. So I'm
Yeah.
going to take that call
Okay.
and I'm going to say, when you get that space or the objection, it would be either.
Mhm.
Okay. So what are you sending me? Or you feel like, I'm going to tell this guy what this is, because you
Right.
feel that.
Right.
Great. But make it a formula. What I'm sending you
Mhm.
is a cover letter that explains what's inside and what to do with it's inside.
Okay.
In fact, we feel it's almost like a do-it-yourself kit.
Yeah.
So it's going to have the do-it-yourself cover letter that explains it. The next thing is, now be careful of this. This is an education in real estate.
Right. Right.
The word comparable is a double-edged sword.
Mhm.
Number one, there is no such thing.
That's what I wish I had.
You got it.
done.
No problem. And you talked to me about that,
That was-
subsequent to that timing in September. So let's reiterate the education. There's the real estate piece that, and this took me a long time to learn. I didn't know this like in my first 2 years.
Mhm.
This is like last couple of years.
Mhm.
The word comparable is a dangerous thing in the eyes of the consumer, because their pushback is, well, that's not like mine.
Right. Exactly.
follow?
I'm very aware.
And
of
if we
that.
just presume that's going to be them, sometimes they'll just, oh, okay, thanks. They're comparables and they'll go along with it. I would always assume there's no such thing, because technically there's not. There is, I mean,
Right.
really, even in a condo complex,
Mhm.
in the most homogeneous place we could imagine in the country or in the world,
Right.
one unit to the next is not physically in the exact same
Right.
spot,
Exactly.
right? So the
Right.
sun hits it differently. And if it's not new, it's been staged differently. So immediately nothing is perfectly comparable. So
Right.
what we do, all we can do, especially in this case with an expired, make an assumption on price.
Mhm.
He thought it was worth X. He ended at X or X minus something, right? That's where he ended. So what we did was we took the liberty to simply demonstrate to you a little bit, the closest we could get. You're a condo. We gave you some condos in the general area
Right.
that sold a little bit below and a little bit above, complete with pictures and details. So you can make your own inferences. Remember, the new distinction last 30 days is do it yourself,
Mhm.
because that's what's making this wildly unique.
Mhm.
That's the one thing. This is a unique selling proposition. I'm actually going to give you what Danny would come over and interpret for anybody,
Mhm.
but I'm going to give it to you so you can do it yourself and make your own inferences, your own insights.
That's what
Got it?
I need is inference. Yes.
You can make your own inferences.
Yes.
Because at this
Mhm.
point in time on a phone, who are we to tell them
What their property.
that's their mind?
Right.
Who are you to be calling me and telling me you're number 52 that called me?
Right.
I know you got a lot of calls, but I'll guarantee you nobody offered you to send you a do-it-yourself
Right.
package.
That's a good one. Too.
I'm not saying that you'll list it yourself, but to analyze your own situation yourself, this is it.
And I do think, even though I didn't say it that precisely, I think he kind of latched on to
He
that.
did. No, I'm going to tell you why. Stay with
And-
me. Hold
okay.
on. Stay with me. He did. And you're right. But I'm trying to give you the way to make it
Concision.
concise. Yes, you know
I
concision.
love
You
concision.
brought the word up,
Mhm.
but I'm going to give you the way there. And that is the thinking tool for you is a deeper understanding of the package with new language. Concision. It's a do-it-yourself package. Concision. There's an instruction page. There's pictures and details of stuff that was most like him that we could see online, that a little bit above and below, right? And our 7 steps. You'll see how far you got in the process. Done. And the
That's
more
good.
that you can go
Yeah, that's
through,
beautiful.
and again, I'm loving this call. By accident, we picked it, right?
Yeah.
But it was
Well,
one.
I knew he was good because he's
No,
gonna let you.
but I'm saying
you're gonna
by-
get a
right.
viewing of his.
But by accident, we got it where you articulated the package.
Yeah.
Which I think is fabulous because you get that chance to actually connect you, and it tips him.
Mhm.
He tips because he starts to change the tone.
Yeah, his tone changed.
You can hear it. He
And
goes up.
He was a tough one. I've worked hard to build rapport, but after the holiday, you're going to get in there.
But do you hear me?
Yeah.
His tone changed because of what you were offering. Because he's like, well, that sounds good because he's smart.
Well, can I also say this? When he threw that rebuttal at me, immediately my intuition said, when it comes that quick, or I should say my expertise says, when a rebuttal comes right up, I know that they're bluffing. And that's what he revealed eventually, is that he really does want help.
Yeah. And first of all, we have to learn the names of towns.
Did I-
Wellesley,
what
yeah.
is it,
Especially
Wellesley?
if they live in Wellesley, they want to hear Wellesley, right?
I said Wellesley.
It's a brand, yeah, Wellesley.
Wellesley.
Sounded like a
Well, I
foreigner.
didn't say Gloucester.
No, yeah, you're
I
correct.
still said
Exactly.
Gloucester.
Exactly. It was minor.
Leo Meister.
I was just laughing. But here's why. To become cognizant of the fact that this guy is no dummy who lives in Wellesley, which is the high rent district of the burbs of
And
Boston.
has a condo in Boston.
There's my point. So my point to you is this is no dummy. And so when you described the intellectual package that was coming, it connects. There's a change in octave. He recognizes what? Professional approach.
Mhm.
You can hear it. You can hear it. I know after thousands of hours what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a connection to professional approach and guidance. He recognizes it.
Mhm.
And he's the right avatar.
And he
To
likes that
recognize
I
it.
wasn't telemarketing, and he is the right avatar. They're
100% he
young,
is.
They're youngish. They've got a couple kids. They're kind of go-getters.
So the concision comes from just understanding what it is. Now, formulaically, here's what I suggest. The minute he said yes, I would have confirmed the address. I would have just taken pause to confirm the address because at bare minimum, to be successful, we wouldn't want to have lost him. Let's just say something goes awry in the second half. Not that it would
Okay.
on a regular basis. Just finish.
Finish that part.
Finish it.
Gotcha.
Finish it.
Gotcha.
Yes, you can send it because it's so concise and delicious.
Mhm.
I'm like, just ask them for the address. And then it got weird at the end where you're like, well, you don't have to give me that. Let me look. I might have, why did you go into all that was my thought. I think it was because we lost in the beginning the concision to, you should have concluded that already, then went down this because the beat was, hey, I saw your beautiful house online. And you say it a
The
little
four
bit different.
beats,
And
yeah.
yeah, and you say it a little bit differently each time I get that. And I thought that was good for everybody to hear.
Mhm.
It's not like this rote, you say it. You got it out of your mouth
Yeah.
and you made it the effect like, hey, we saw it online and noticed that, it didn't happen and wanted to send you something.
Right.
Yes. Great. Let me just confirm the address.
Well,
Are you, hold on, let me just finish. Are you at that address? No. Oh, great. What address should I send it to? Finish.
Right.
Finish. Because why? The habit of telemarketing is to try to get it all done on the phone.
Right.
What makes this so unique is you're getting permission to market, which is the most powerful marketing I have ever experienced. When somebody gives us permission to market our materials to them, that to me, I heard it from Seth Godin for the first time. I didn't understand it
The
until
door
we did it
shuts.
here.
Yeah, the door shuts
Until-
right behind them.
Until we did it here. You gave me permission to come into your house with my best marketing, which actually is my best stuff for you for free.
Right. Exactly.
So my best marketing is my best DIY kit to
Right.
you. So the idea is finish that every time, because especially for you, Laura, to know, like, that's what I'm looking for. That's a real permission marketing. Check the box in Infusionsoft. List is delineated. There's a really good follow-up
Right.
situation, right? Because when that arrives, you know it's arriving to the right avatar because we hear him.
yeah.
Got it? You were a little bit late to hear it, but my point is that was beautiful. But finish. Then I think what a lot of people, Tony was asking about this too. Everybody's in such a rush. Why are you thinking about? No, finish.
Right.
Get
Finish
that
the
direct
four-
mail
the 4 feet.
permission and everything changes. Now go to
Right.
the whole second half is, hey, it looks like a beautiful house. How come you think it didn't sell? And he begins to engage. Okay. Now there's a spot in there that we have to leave this sort of nebulous thing. If you feel like after the address, you need to tell them, look, here's what's in the package. Be concise. Not like, I don't want you to think it's spam and this and that and, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's where it got too long. If you and that's a real estate thing. And that's an us thing. Just know what's in the package. Say, great, thanks for the address. Let me just tell you, it's basically a DIY kit so you can figure out, your situation a little bit better.
Right.
There's a cover letter explaining everything that's in there. About 6 pages or so with properties with pictures and details that were in your price range.
Right.
Okay. And then lastly, the 7 steps.
There he is.
And you're just done. Yeah, I get him. I heard him. I know exactly who he is. He looks like he's out of the Wellesley magazine.
Yep.
Right? Do you follow me?
Yep. He's a chief financial officer.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Yeah. So there's the point which you're dealing with in Boston too. You're starting to know the avatar.
Yeah.
Just don't, because here's what will happen. Listen to me. It will fall apart if you go too far.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose
with
it.
That person.
For sure.
Right.
An intellect wants to hear it. They want concision. They're busy, and especially a CFO who stays in boxes. Get it done. Don't say too much. We're not there to get high.
Yeah, he is the CFO.
There you go. Off we go.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
And we're going to see him. We're going to get in. I'm building rapport. He was tough because there was one time where I called him. I'm feeding the kids. Oh, backpedal quickly.
No problem.
And now it's not like that anymore.
Yeah. Just go back. And if I were you, I'd have a pen and a paper and I'd listen. And I'd just take my own notes. It's so good, but it could be even better. Finish. Explain what's coming.
Explain.
Dig in. Explain. I'm sorry. Finish the opening to get permission. How about this? Here's the beats. Get permission. Explain what's coming. Dig in.
Instead of saying, oh, I don't want you to think it's junk mail.
Yeah, that was defensive and weird.
But I didn't say it defensively.
No. But I'm saying subconsciously.
But you're right.
You don't need it.
You're right.
You don't need that.
Right. No,
there's where we lose concision. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You believe in the package more than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've seen its effect after it's arrived. And
money.
you got it. Amen. Okay. Thoughts? You came in a little bit after.
I was just thinking that maybe you should take some time once a week just to listen to your own calls.
I would.
That's a great idea.
I think it's great.
Absolutely.
And then
because you will be your best critic.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah,
No
that's
doubt.
a great idea.
No doubt. And then tell us what you think. What did you discover? See, that's actually, ironically, an excellent management perspective. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. What we talked about in the mastermind the other day was we all get so tactical down on that assembly line doing the thing that the ability to sit and think about what I'm doing will root out the strategy. You'll say, well, geez, concision is my thing. I brought that concision to it. What am I seeing in there?
Yeah.
And what do I think is a better strategy?
Right,
what do
right.
I think is a better strategy? So then you come to us and say, hey, you know what? I thought this, and then I tested it. I want you guys to listen to after I made the strategic adjustment. Tell me what you think.
All right. Well, what I'm hearing now is we created the first 4 beats, but there's actually some other beats in there. Another few beats that can come after it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of beats, quote unquote, but let's go highest level. Permission, explanation, dig in, right? When I say dig in, I'm looking for timing and motivation. Right? That's the classic. That's the last beat. But everybody is trying to get that so fast first, just out of whack.
Yeah.
It is not adding
what we want and not what about.
It is not about them at all.
No.
Yeah.
It is not about them at all.
Well,
so you're
that's the
picking up
beauty.
the phone, talking to people, and you're not making it about them at all. You're making it about you. And that's why people wonder why they're sweating at the end of the month when they're just jamming on people. Doesn't work.
Well,
that's why.
the beauty of permission marketing. Like I'll also do it when I say, are you in the middle of something or do you have a moment to talk to me?
Yeah.
Because when they give me the stage, doors shut behind them. You give me the stage.
That's right. Perfect.
So that's what,
Yeah,
that's
I like
why
that.
I learned many years ago to start asking for permission, because once they do that, it's a psychological.
It's a
play.
whole different thing. It's the law of reciprocity, really. I mean, if you give me permission, like you
well,
know,
then you
that's
can't
your
hang
gift.
up on me.
That's your gift to me. Let me accept your gift for a second.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's open it up. Let's go interactive. Remember, if I know there was a couple of you I asked to come in here with stuff I can't remember, obviously, at the end of a week after I've been concussed with all this talking and these ideas. So just remind me what
And
you want to
drinking at the
cover.
Christmas
Yeah,
party.
I only had one glass of wine. I was in bed. I can't speak. I can't speak for my fellow compatriot here, the redhead. But let's go into this. All right. Whoa! Somebody's got a loud mic there. Guys, somebody's got a super loud mic there. Okay. Someone in Mountain View is sawing down a tree. Evidently, evidently it was a redwood.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. Yeah, not you. It wasn't you, Gail, but somebody out there with you. They were sawing down the door at Facebook to get into the secret vault. That's what they were doing. All right, thoughts here. Thoughts about what you listened to today, and you can hear its effectiveness live. Spanish guitar from Washington. Thank you. You just got voice jailed. Go ahead. Next.
Hey, Danny.
Yes, go ahead.
I thought it was an excellent call, and the only thing I would have critiqued was exactly, I think, what you critiqued, which was when he said that's not the address, rather than saying I can find it or this or that.
Yeah.
Just say, oh, okay. What's the best address to which to send it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What was
Other than that, perfect.
Yeah. Why did you go there? It was interesting. I thought you went there because you wanted to show them how organized you were, a professional. Yeah. All right.
That's all
Cool.
it is.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I get it, and I like it.
Just
You
ended up taking too long.
right. You
But
were trying.
That was totally. What
She was trying to demonstrate. I thought that she was all over this.
Yeah.
Like we got you. Like
Yeah.
you watch this magic.
Let me just look.
I know where you are. I got it. I
And
understood.
then I'm like, oh,
No,
we don't
I
have it.
Get it because I have a few soft open, and I'll be like, hey, Danny, you want to hear something funny? You remember the first time we ever talked, and I obviously already have the notes all open, and it'll say like, oh yeah, when? December 2013, and you'll be like, you're kidding me.
Right.
So I get the whole wanting to like taste it,
Impress.
the familiarity thing.
Yeah.
And, I got this, but
Yeah.
that took a little bit too long, and it's just an address. That's not even like a kind of a funny or aside or whatever. Like, wow, you knew that? Just get the address,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Awesome. Though, Paul. Anything else about that? I mean, Paul, that was great for you to hear because this is what I've been saying to you.
I was going to say,
You would-
Paul.
You'll smash this. You'll smash. That's
Oh.
your tone.
It's all going to happen by the end of the month. Now.
Yeah.
I've already got a call into the printer, and the materials we're going to get
Yeah.
are going to be. I'll send them to you and
Yeah, but you see,
I'm just going to send you a hard copy.
But you see the huge difference, Paul, though, in strategy? It's just massive. So when you were saying, oh, I'm doing, no, you're not. You're not doing that. You are capable, is what I said to you as a tactical player, of sounding just like her. Pace, familiarity, comfort, smooth, everything she was feeling,
Mhm.
that's your strength too. So that's why I'm saying you don't want to waste that talent
Right.
as a tactical
Exactly.
player by
Don't
not.
waste
You remember
it.
she said this yesterday at the mastermind. She said, "Why aren't you guys just going A to B to C to D?" And that's what I was just listening to see. Are we going A to B to C to D? And it was pretty close. It's pretty close, and that's from 2 months ago. This is December,
Mhm.
so that's 2 months
And
old.
there's more calls like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I know to say. The
Yeah, that's
only
right.
thing I want to say.
Yeah, yeah.
I
mean,
heard you go directly into the address very smoothly.
Yeah, I was just, trying to do whatever.
Well, here's the other challenge.
Because the guy's intimidating.
Here's the other, but for sure, no doubt. But
He's
but
an
the-
intimidating
but-
business
But
person.
this is what we're saying about what we've been doing lately,
Mhm.
didn't we? We just talked about this, elevating your self-image to say, well, who are they in the context of? Hold on, let me finish this thought because I really want to get this into your head.
Okay.
Why am I not on that level in my craft? Because you are.
But I think I am.
Well, that's okay. Then
So I belied myself.
yes, cool.
Yeah, because some people,
I like
and,
that.
and it's usually the business woman that is hard to deal with for me because they resent my business approach. But this guy is just
Maybe not if it's truly valuable to them.
well,
Don't forget.
I do deal with women quite a bit.
Right, but don't forget, these people all come onto these phone calls in the thick of living their lives. So let's go to this professional avatar, the busy business person who's a very, very high level business person,
Mhm.
okay? Let's just leave it at that. Small business, I don't care. They come Mach 10 with their hair on fire into
Yeah.
this life, and you arrive in it. you're going to, in that moment of time, inherit.
You feel like you're going to get run over.
Well, because they're in that speed.
Yeah.
You know, I used to come home like that, all the time. And I would say to Julie, look, let's not even have a conversation until I've had 45 minutes to an hour just to slow my brain down.
Yeah.
Because I'm going, all these ideas, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So you have to understand that we are interrupting into their world and you're inheriting their moment. So that first beat to give them some sense of stability is everything.
Mhm.
It's so important in that first stretch to be concise and clear. Hey, and I love that you slowed it down because here's this brain go, blah, 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 and you're speaking slowly.
That's the only way I could control him
You're not
and
going
not be
you're not going
intimidated.
in there and throwing kerosene on
No,
an
I couldn't.
already going wheel. You're going, hey,
He would have gotten rid
Right.
of me.
because you would have agitated his brain.
Right. He would have
Instead,
gotten
you
rid of me
slowed it down. He could
purposely
hear
to
clearly.
pull him
He
down.
could hear clearly what you were saying. He heard clearly what you offered.
I wish
Uh,
that I knew that when I was,
And then, well, we wish we knew a lot of things when we were doing this, right?
because I was always going way too fast, and it would have relaxed me so much just to.
It wouldn't have made it
slow.
miserable. It would have made it exciting
It makes
because
it fun when you go
does.
slow.
Correct.
It's challenging.
So here's one point I wanted
Every
to make.
weapon-
I wanted to
every
make
word is
this.
sword.
I wanted to make this point. The danger with us all. Tony Robbins is the one. Thanks to Gail tuning me into this from Tony.
Mhm.
Gail picked up on this. There's conflicting needs. Tony does there's an audio somewhere where Tony goes down these conflicting needs, but they're human needs. One is consistency
Mhm.
and the other is variety.
Mhm.
So your ability to sit down tactically, knowing our strategy is already in place, and this is where I'm doing here. I'm the strategist today. This is a sales training call about tactics, but it's telling you that we're following a strategy here. Okay. And the minute you screw with the strategy in a drastic way, the tactic becomes less effective, almost ineffective.
Mhm.
Right. So the strategy first, tactic plugs in.
Mhm.
Now that gives you certainty, which is a need.
Mhm.
Okay. We have this certainty, this consistency. It's actually certainty. We want a sense of certainty. We just talked about this, you and I.
Mhm.
The stability to walk through the door, to sit down, know precisely what to do and how you can make a living doing it.
Mhm.
That's important, right?
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's a foundational piece. Here's the problem with us. Now, in the same conflicting moment, we need variety.
Yeah.
So if you came in,
Absolutely.
see
Absolutely.
see how she reacted to both of those things.
That's where the people come in. That's why I can do it because
Correct.
there's variety
Correct.
in the people.
No doubt, and that's why I like it too. There's new people all the time. That's why I love this
all the
business.
time. Yeah.
But let me show you where our desire for variety screws us. You get bored with what you're saying,
And then you
and you start mixing it up.
start adding.
You got it. You got it. That's where it gets all weird. So focus as a tool on the variety of the human, not what you're
Variety
saying.
of-
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
because they remember they're hearing it for the very first
First
time.
and it's not boring for them.
Correct. So if you're able to root out of all your calls what the best practice strategically is, stay to it for their benefit.
Yeah.
And allow the variety for your benefit to come
To be
to
them.
you. Got it.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good distinction.
Love that distinction.
That's
Thank you for doing it
good
because that's,
distinction.
see guys, how deep we are and how simple that is. It's really simple to understand strategy first, tactics second. And the more the tactician is desiring their own sense of variety, the more they screw with a proven strategy. And everybody wonders, well, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, it will work if you just go A, B, C, D. It will work.
When didn't it work in life to give something to somebody that was really in it for them? When did that ever not work? Do you know what I mean?
It's been working
I'm
for
not
89
trying to
months.
speak in absolutes. I'm just saying for any of us in life, if there was a moment where we needed something and that thing was given to us and it was real, we understood it really was the thing we need or want in that moment. Do we really reject it?
No,
No. It's logical. We're appealing to human logic, saying you can reject it if you want because you're so anxious
yeah,
or
but
you're
you
so
don't even have
mad.
to go there because you've already gotten permission.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying they might say no. Okay. No, don't send me anything.
Okay, then I dig deeper.
Well, then you could say, Are you certain? Because what it is just a do-it-yourself kit.
Are you kidding? If I said that, you'd be all over me and say, no, that's not what you do.
No.
What
If he said no.
If he said no,
Yeah.
I would say, are you gonna live in the house? I would start asking real estate questions. If I said, why not? Blah, blah,
Yeah, but
blah.
hold on. I'm going to challenge you this.
Okay.
This is good. Because the lady that you had the tete-a-tete with at 4:00 in the morning,
Yeah.
you left her a message.
The next morning,
What did it say?
it said, you called me last night at 4:15, and I'm wondering why you would call a businesswoman at 4:15, and I wonder how many opportunities you've missed.
Stop. That's the one I'm looking for. I remembered it. How many opportunities have you missed? That is the essence of the objection handling here. If you really know that this person bleeding in the context of expired or about to,
Right.
do you see him? If they're really bleeding
She's
and they're just
bleeding.
so emotional
Mhm,
and they
mhm.
say no up front to all extents, you
Yeah,
can travel
however they
you're
do
right,
it.
to whatever extent they say it.
Right.
But now what you do is you gear down and say, okay, hold on. I just want you to know what this is. Before you really say no, I'm not asking you for anything. I really want to give you what is in essence a do-it-yourself kit.
Well, that came much later.
Yeah, correct. But here we are today. So I'm saying the adjustment that we can make to the strategy is to now go back along this assembly line of a conversation and say, all right, we're very clear. Get the first piece out. You get a yes, confirm the address. You get a no. Are you sure? Here's what's in it. Or even if you get a yes, you confirm the address and say, okay, here's what's going to be in it. Now you've not only gotten permission, you've got the address clear, you've explained what it is. You've just earned something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the right to ask,
Mm-hmm.
what happened?
Right.
And that's timing and motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bravo. Anything else? Okay. All right. Let's open it up to whatever other challenge. I know I had some people that wanted to let me know about some things, and I can look at those things. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, we've got Mike and Dave on the phone with us too, because we had been talking about
Yes. First of all,
pushback and doing things on
yeah.
muscle.
Yep. Hang on. First of all,
Okay.
Dave gets a public standing ovation from me. Dave, it is to my understanding that you, by coming here and taking the critique and giving yourself self-critique year over year, you have tripled the amount of business that you have affected for the team at Metro City. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, bravo. Yeah, dude, bravo.
I'll be a little bit bashful about
Yeah,
it.
that's okay. I'm not going to be bashful about praising you in front of people because you have been more than willing over the last year plus to come into this forum, to let me attack paradigms for you, to swallow pride at moments, make course correction, and you have executed when nobody was looking. Bravo. Just you deserve 5 gold stars. To triple the amount of business you're involved in. I understand that the first year you were newer, okay, but still to triple plus or minus is the math that I got the other day. The amount of business you affected is awesome. It's just great. Now, obviously, to have that kind of a result the next year gets a little bit tougher, but you can see what we just did with Autumn, where these distinctions for a pro now like you get subtler and subtler. So the higher levels are tinier distinctions, and we really have to lean in and try to pull together all these ideas. But the one clear thing that I understand is that when you're doing the tactical work, what I said the other day, yesterday in the mastermind to all the mastermind members about growing the business, is we all come at life with a birthright of being tactical. What does that mean? It means that when you're born, everybody's created equal with a mechanism inside to survive. That's what we do, right? You come in with a mechanism to survive, and that instantly makes you all tactical. I run out of the cave. I go and I find the buffalo. I win that one fight. I drag the buffalo back to the cave. I eat until there's no more buffalo. I go back out and repeat it. That's a tactic. We're born to be able to do that, to survive. It's called hunting and gathering, okay? But that's the animal brain in us. What happens is the creative imagination begins to float a little bit above that event each day. And those people that allow it to float above it high enough begin to see strategy. Well, my strategy is to run out the door every day and win one fight. Why am I doing it like that, says the creative imagination? Is there another way that I might leverage that? Well, there's an Indian tribe that escapes me at the moment that I studied once upon a time, and they developed something called a piskin. And a piskin is basically a funnel. You see it in use today on the internet a lot as a sales funnel. But they built a piskin to find a lot more buffalo at once. They would scare the buffalo into this funnel that was sort of all this loose brush, and the rest of the tribe would hide behind when a couple of people would scare them into the piskin, and then everybody would make noise on either side, and multiple buffalo would go flying over the cliff to their death. And that's how they hunted buffalo. So they found a better strategy. So what happens is now what you're doing is you have to get up above that and figure out in some thinking time with me, and you can do a little bit right now. You have to get up above that change from 70, that you affected to in the 200s. Okay. You need to get above that, and you just say strategically. So I'm going to ask you this question now with that big buildup. Strategically, in your own words, to benefit everybody else listening, what is the big strategy change? And then you can talk about tactics, but strategically stay a higher level and share your idea of your piskin with the rest of the tribe here.
Well, I would say it's a tough question I'll have to sort of work it out here.
Good.
Live.
Good. That's what we're doing.
But I would say a lot of it has to do with being very systemic in the process of the way things are done. So trying to hit the same flow of conversation every single call. So it's kind of like working into a flow chart. So saying the same things every call does help, but it's more about having the same sort of conversation flow to each point in a call, and just sort of sticking to that and understanding, getting more of an understanding of what people are saying, and really digging deep into what they're saying instead of what I want to hear.
Beautiful. Hang on to that thought right there. Beautiful. Okay. So instead of being WIFM, what's in it for me? I need an appointment. You're starting to listen to them. What's in it for them? What do they want? So this is a huge distinction for me over the last several years. It's subtle. Okay.
I don't think
Yep.
it's subtle.
Okay. I thought it was subtle in the way that Dean described it, that I've always believed in a WIFM, what's in it for me from their perspective. But when you say it like that, what's in it for me, strangely enough, you're programming your brain to say that inside your own head. When you can say what's in it for them, you're looking that way. Follow me?
Yeah.
It's a subtle change with one letter, one word. What's in it for me?
Everything about me is so subtle.
There's nothing subtle about you. You weren't born subtly either. So, but Dean, that's the key, is that if we keep saying, I got to remember what's in it for me, what's in it for me, for them, what's in it for me, what's in it for, we're qualifying what we're saying, but you're actually repeating words that go into your head, what's in it for me. And that aligns with this old school way. And I'm going to call it old school and call it out. You keep asking for appointments and not adding any value. You're an old school telemarketer. And it's tired and it doesn't work in the long run unless you can be the automaton, so that every month you're making these calls en masse and you're scraping the cream and you're muscling people. That's in direct proportion to your energy, and it's exhausting, and I'll argue it's no fun. Okay? Some lunatics might love it. I get it, but I'm calling it out. I'm taking my stance on the other side of the MMA arena. I'll fight you on it. Okay? I will. You're wrong. You're just wrong, because that's not the way we should treat people if we have a higher calling. You want to be a person for others. You want to give your best stuff away for free. You need to really get on that side of the arena and say, what is in it for them? Okay. Now, for us, that business model works. For others, it might be the other side of the cage. I'm fine with that. God bless you, but it's not what I think. right? And it's not what we experience. And I'm telling you, every time you hear it, Laura, you understand, why didn't I have this? I could have done that so much better. It's almost like a relief of the past pressures that as a young person, you forced yourself to do when you think about it.
100%.
And I would have to be on you. Oh, we got him. I was like a lunatic running around because we're doing everything on muscle. I would never go back.
Me either.
Never.
I mean, when I came back, I didn't even want to go back.
Right. If you told me that was the way you had to make a living, we wouldn't do it. That's why, think about this now. Think about what I'm about to say. Why is there even such a thing as the do not call list? Because of that.
100%.
Follow me? So people ask me, well, what about somebody on the do not call list? I am not soliciting anything when I pick up the phone. I'm saying I have identified you. It'd be like my neighbor's house on fire. Okay? Am I bothering you if I knock on the door and say, psst, your roof's on fire? And I know you can't see it, but I could see it from across the street. Here's a bucket of water. Start with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this whole concept of why are you worried about being a robocaller if you're not? You're there to genuinely help somebody. They want to tell you to buzz off. Wonderful. I'll take you off the list. Would you still like me to send this? Because it's kind of a DIY kit. No. All right, great. I got the double no. I'm done. I tried to help you. I didn't ask you for anything. I'm not soliciting anything. I'm not asking you to buy insurance in the middle of the night with a robocall. I'm not being harmful. I'm being helpful, right? So I think that's a big, huge distinction that happens subtly. Dean, you actually just finally tipped it for me. We were doing it, but I needed to be able to say that now. What's in it for them? Stop saying what's in it for me like a robot. You're programming your brain to think there is something for me first. There definitely is something for you, an opportunity to further help, to earn business. I get it. I'm not delusional. So in fact, the third beat, like we talked about today, it's like get permission, explain what's coming, and then find out about timing and motivation. What went on here? What were you trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if they'll engage in that first call, you've done it, you've gotten as far as you could get, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you hear, well, geez, I'll send it, but it almost sounds like you're ready to go. Do you want me to have Danny come over? Correct. But then and only then is it appropriate if you really believe what's in it for them. So coming back to Dave, I just exploded into strategically what you've experienced, right? It's subtle in your mind's eye, and that's why you're kind of working through it. But I'm giving you the strategic narrative that's behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing about it that I find really important is trusting the process itself.
Yes.
The results will come. So there's going to be an ebb and flow all the time where if you're thinking like, oh, I want appointments, there's going to be an ebb and flow to it where, your appointments will be down, but maybe you've had a lot of really great conversations. And the fruit of that will show later on, and you'll just have way more down the pipeline.
Here's my feeling about that. Yes, in the beginning. So in the first 8-9 months that Autumn's been here, we've had those moments of exasperation where we couldn't quite see any sort of consistency. But the more that the three of us have fought to stay inside the yellow brick system, right? Mm-hmm. We have begun to see acceleration of a longer pipeline so that we understand that if you are talking to somebody in September and they are talking about March, and then another one's talking about March and another one's talking about April, all of a sudden you can see out that there will be a consistency forever because you stayed to a strategy and then you come each week and we look for more subtleties to protect it. But once it's in place and it begins to bear future fruit, which nobody wants to work for, but yet year after year after year, I get the calls from my friends in this business, help me. Right. I'm not going to change my story for any of you. I am going to tell you it is slow and steady build out of strategic approach and then the refinement of tactics upon that, which will protect you forever and build an actual business that has consistency built in.
Mhm.
If you are tactic hunting, if you are cream skimming all the time, well, I went to this website and their leads were no good. No, your strategy was no good, right? A lead is nothing more than contact information. And the more context you know, the more relevant you can be and the more strategic you can be. So Dave, in the long run, you'll have the natural ebb and flow of a marketplace. Yes. You get hit with a recession. Yes. I mean, there's no doubt interest rate changes. Yes. There are external mega forces that we know will come again. But if you are building now, while there's wind in your sails, if you're building now strategically and you can see this pipeline of relationships beginning to swell, you'll have a new problem. That'll be the complete irony.
Mhm.
You'll have too much.
And Danny,
Go ahead, Gail. Come on.
Danny, that's undisputable laws. I mean, the fact that your mindset and the way that you come from helping and concierge and thinking about them, it only attracts that kind. And, you know, I've always wanted to know, remember that book, The Secret? I never really got what it meant. What do you mean, The Secret? And so what you're talking about is law of averages. You're talking about laws that are indisputable, just like physics.
Right.
I mean, the more that you do, like Dean and this other gentleman were doing, the better things get.
Right.
And then it's just amazing the way that our businesses have developed as a result of your coaching and your keeping us strategic instead of tactical, because that tactical thing comes from fear, I think. We need to I understand that. Of course, you have to, knowledge, execution of knowledge is important. You have to do that. But the way that you do that and with your mindset,
sure.
You are a great leader in the sense of helping all of us to find our way to do the things that will bring us the most joy and the most, joy for other people and happiness. And I just want to applaud you. I'm going to give you 5 stars.
Gail, that was so many compliments in one breath. The check's in the mail, okay? Like you're on the payroll. Just to sit there and say nice things to me like that. I appreciate
He
you.
doesn't get them. Mom.
Yeah. I don't get them from Laura. She just punches me in the face. When I walk through the door, she just hits me. Yeah,
Did I not give you your very first Christmas present?
She gave me my very first Christmas present. You know what it was? A bar of soap. What's that tell you?
You smell.
What's that tell you, right? And it was black. She told me like my soul. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but here.
We have to say that. We have to say it out loud so you know that you're appreciated.
Thank you.
All the hard work that you're doing, the way that my business has developed, and my mindset, and the way that I feel about it. Like I can wake up in the morning and be full of fear, but I don't. And because I know we have a strategy, I trust it, and you have hammered it into my brain. Like with Rebecca, you said, I want Rebecca to come once a week. That's what we decided.
Yeah.
I tell Rebecca, she said, well, I think we have a great relationship. I said, let's just do what Danny says. And the more I thought about it, and when she came yesterday, the more we developed a more sense of togetherness and understanding. So you were absolutely right, and I applaud you for that as well.
Well, thank you. I want to speak to something. Thank you so much. Kind words, especially during the season, right? Let me really unpack one thing though that you understand that you said, and because I want to share it with everybody. It's so critical. It's a new distinction for me. I'm an avid learner. I actually listen to podcasts on 1.5 times speed. I'm trying to, I do the same on Audible books. I'm just always looking for that little edge that helps me understand something. Well, I give full credit to David Goggins, who is a self-described knuckle dragger. He's way smarter than that in my mind's eye. But I listened to, there's one video of him. It's a long one. I listened to it when I was running over the last several months. And finally, somewhere along the line, I was able to clarify why there's a problem for all of us. And I said it at the beginning of the call. Let me go back to it. Goggins was a 300-pound guy who just wanted to get his stuff together. And he comes to that moment, Gail, that we talk about a lot of inspirational dissatisfaction. And that is the dissatisfaction of the survivor. See, and I'm going to say this again. Everybody is born with an equal opportunity to survive. Everybody. unless there's some real acute physical ailment or mental ailment from the very birth, everybody has the programming of the animal brain, as he calls it, to survive. You're born with the ability to hunt and gather. It's evidenced by, if you look around the world, even in very underdeveloped countries, people can survive. I know it's just barely as it relates to the way we live in North America. I get it, but it's there. And you're absolutely right. It is a fear drive. This is where I'm starting to believe fear comes from, is that if I wake up every day and I have even the slightest sense of my inability to survive, my fear mechanism kicks in. I am scared of starving to death. I am scared of not having water. I am scared of being exposed to the elements and dying. That's the base. Everybody starts with that. So now you get up and you're right. You're fear motivated and when you chase the first buffalo and you finish that buffalo, you're afraid again and again. So you're right. So the cycle of fear is a birthright. It's what it is. You're afraid of the saber-toothed tiger getting you, and you're afraid even bigger of not eating. So it's the circle of life type of thing, right? Now, how do you get out of that as a small business person? That's my obsession. Well, Gerber kind of has it, but I got to, put kerosene on it. You have to use, and this is where you take that Napoleon Hill, one of his laws of success, you killed it, right? And Maxwell Maltz jumps on the same thing in his body of work. So you see this repetition of a tool, okay? There's a tool there. And it is a tool that every human, again, if we're not completely physically or mentally handicapped in some way, there's that creative imagination, which is the tool. It's the way out, okay? Let that sink in. It is the way out. So if I have that base of fear-based, I'm going to survive, the way out is to use the tool or not. You have to feed the creative imagination. So the question simply begs, how do you do that? You do it with, you've heard it called a lot of things, thinking time, quiet time, acting as if, but more so as the survivor who's in business, you're repeating something tactically week after week, day after day. The ability to stop, and Laura just made a fabulous suggestion to Autumn, a true understanding whether she can articulate or not. It was a fabulous, why don't you sit down, and I'll give it new nomenclature, and observe your tactical performance with your creative imagination sitting with you, looking down at it, saying strategically, could I lever myself more?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I can speak to what Gail says, a levered situation that's easier for me to do, but super effective and growing. Not easier so I can be lazy, but so that I can feel that I affected a better outcome for myself. I feel what? A sense of moving towards a vision of fulfillment. There's your three your three layers, right? Yeah, go ahead.
And Danny, the fact that we're small businesses, if we have consistent opportunities to list and sell properties and help people buy them, you get that out of the way. What I'm saying is it's always there. You have to do that. But if you get it like a machine and it's moving forward, now you can go to a higher level like you have, where you're doing and you and Dean are doing all these marketing things and creating websites and etc. So that we're not stuck on that bottom part trying to figure out how to get our next transaction. It's like people that are highly successful always get the money issue out of the way, get that out of the way. So you're not waking up with that fear in the morning. Where's my next dollar coming from? There's always the pipeline filled. There's always something coming up. And then there's other opportunities that you have to work on. So it gives a different mindset as well. And it takes the edge off of however we want to talk about it, whatever we want to say. You just move that out of the way and you keep that machine going. And that's what it feels like for me. And I'm sure it feels like that for a lot of people that are following the strategic plan and believe it, because we live by our belief system. We don't live so much by our heads. And I try to do that, but I know that if I believe this, then that's what it's going to happen, because I don't believe there can be another way. So I have to always look at my belief system. But I believe our 7-point strategic plan, our 6-point strategic plan, our plan for our agents is outstanding. It will always get better, but I believe in it.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah. Funny thing you should say that. We were talking about this earlier, Autumn and I was saying, absolutely 100% lay this package out in front of you, read it inside and out, get up above it with your creative imagination, question it, challenge it, push it. But then, and Lindsay, I see your request up there. I don't know if I can pull it off right now, but then it becomes applicable to these other things. So like Lindsay's asking me, do we have probates we can apply this to? Yes, you can apply.
Absolutely.
See, and that's the cool thing. And I think that's the cool thing about strategy is that if you thought about what's in it for them, the very base of this business, well, which them? We only have 3 of them: seller, buyer, agent. That's all we have. No matter where you're at in your business, there's 3 major avatars to grow your business. And so you look at them that way and you say, is there a core body of work that you can give the seller, that you can give the buyer, that you can give the agent? And the answer is yes. That you have these core universal, I like what you said, immutable laws. I mean, if you're an agent, these are the things you're going to have to think about. If you're a buyer, these are the things you're going to have to go through. If you're a seller, these are the things you're going to go through. I mean, we could debate that, what I named them or what I did, but my thought was that was what was in it for them, was a plan. Well, now in each one of those lanes, you have context. I'll go back to the agents for a second. How do you look at agents and say, there are some, immutable laws about running a business? Well, you can, when it's foundational, when it's immutable. There's no getting away from, for example, that this is not a job, it's a business. You're not going to get away from that as number one. And once you realize you have a business, you're going to be in Small Business 101, especially, you have to understand what marketing is. You have to come up with something unique about you, and you have to let the world know. So now you're into a marketing strategy, and on it goes. Those are just immutable laws that again, if we just do them by default, Gail, and we never spend time thinking, well, what do we do as successful agents every day? And we don't get up above it. Now it's in direct proportion to our energy, and nothing's ever been put in line so that when we run out of energy or we are exhausted, right, we have a buoy to swim back to called a strategic law-based system. Right. And I think that's the beauty of this. We have to fan the fire on strategic. Look isn't it fun to sit here and talk tactically on Friday about the subtleties of a script, knowing that it plugs into a system? Like, we're not guessing here. We're listening to live calls. And furthermore, Gail, this is one of the other things I just wanted to mention. When it's strategic, it becomes more measurable. Right?
Yeah.
So now you can question. Nobody's saying, like, who am I to say there's immutable laws? I'm just an observer of the world. But now we go in and say, okay, well, that's fine. Put your strategy in place. What's your tactic consistent with that? But then you got to know, did it work? How do you know? Did you measure it? That's always been in the model. Build an operational system that is measurable. So a lot of people start throwing these things around. Well, you got to measure it. You got to measure what? What? The number of internet inquiries you get on a whimsical website, pass by, and then you're going to just make up that, you make all these calls. I mean, again, when the strategy stinks, the measurement stinks. The expenditures go out of control. The quality of service goes out of control. So the simpler, more concise the strategy, the easier it is to implement tactics and improve them. Cool. Lindsay, I will promise you that, what is next week? It's not Christmas yet, right?
No.
Okay. Next week, we will show you how we would take, and go from strategically, because this is really good. So we'll do it. Strategically, we're going to go from an expired, which we just did, to a probate.
Yeah, let's do a probate.
Yeah.
I've got probate.
Right? Good.
Yeah.
And what we'll show them is
Wait till you hear what I'm saying.
Yeah. Mae West just entered the room. Yeah. So look at bravo to you. That's impressive in 8 months. It really is. And bravo to you for managing through it and understanding where we've come, and all of it. And nobody's more excited about the ability to validate through measurement. And again, Dave, just outstanding, especially for a dude. Okay. All my boys out there, you better be listening to me. Put your testosterone and your egos and your insecurities aside. Ladies got it down a little bit better than us. They're more humble. They come at this, and you saw a virtuoso in 8 months, and she's being managed by a virtuoso who's been here 13 years. But Dave stands up for all of us men today saying, yes, we can do it too, meaning we can be humble enough to listen. We can adjust, and then you can come here. You know, I've always asked everybody to do one thing for me. When I give you guidance, please follow it to the best of your ability as close as you can. And then bring it back to me and let me hear it. Let me break it down with you. Because if it doesn't work when you follow it, it's on me. But if you go out there and you go over the proverbial guardrail out in the poppy fields with my friend Dorothy, it's still on you, right? It's got to be strategic. The best I can do is the best I can do is give you something I think you should try. And I know, because I do this every day with really brilliant people and a brilliant mastermind. And the more you want to fight that with the fear-based tactical mind, it's just going to be the longer you stay stuck there. So use your creative imagination over the weekend. Think about what we're saying. Relate it to what you do and fight your way up to strategic from tactical, and you'll find a better blend when you do. Okay? So thanks for all being here. Autumn, you rock, for sharing that with us today. I know it was a little bit longer winded. Dave, just got to hold you up on the pedestal there again. You get the crown, buddy. And I appreciate you from being someone outside our office so we can validate. Have a good weekend, everybody. Go practice this stuff. Please give away your best stuff for free, and you'll be shocked. Gail, you rock for being so kind to me. You bet. You're welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.